This can make a challenging situation far more difficult. If possible, staying connected with your loved ones through digital methods is one way to maintain contact. Need help and support? Please contact us at the hotline 311, psychosocial support at 722-6575 or 518-4157. Brought to you by PAHO, the OACS Commission, and UNICEF.
Good evening, St. Lucia, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Sports Night. I'm your presenter, Anthony de Beauville, and as always, you can join us, on UTV, channel 124, Facebook, UTV 124, or you can call in on telephone numbers 572-7588 or 484-7588. I will believe that you had a wonderful week. It's kind of pretty hot. And the majority of you all did adhere to the various protocols. That's good. Keep it up. My week was just good. Did quite a bit of walking, as you can see. All right. On a sad note, another national sports personality has passed. And the sport of that has lost a long-standing player, William Rocheld, who passed away this past weekend. He was 63 years old, following a brief illness. William's career started in 1983 with Brantford's Darters, but later in his career, he went on to join Amazona Darters. In 2020, he went back to Brantford Darters. It was only last September at Prior's Byron Grill at Corinth, he represented Brantford Darters at the National Championship. He last represented Brantford, as I said. He also represented St. Lucia at various regional and international tournaments. One of his major achievements was his second place title at the Caribbean Darts tournament held in St. Lucia in 1998. According to his sister Odila, his love and talent in the game made him a force to be reckoned with. He was determined to be the first St. Lucian darter to represent St. Lucia on the world stage. He will be missed in the darts fraternity. We at UTV channel 124 extend our sincerest condolences to Rochelle family and by extension the St. Lucia Darters Dart Association and of course in many affiliates. I think we have one to pick of Rochelle, so for those persons who knew him, of those persons who never had an idea of he playing, that's him here. Playing here in September, October at Prior's, that's him here again, at Prior's Barn Grill in Corinth in the 501 tournament. And of course, that's some of his teammates, Brantford, the Brantfords, and of course, Vincent, and so on. So, we have lost yet another sports personality. On the other side of things, or the other side of the coin, Diouf Nakni hit 75 and soak up 176 deliveries in a century stand. As Sri Lanka comfortably batted out a drawn at the Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium in Antigua yesterday. Scores in the match: West Indies 354 and 280 for 4. Sri Lanka 258 and 146 for 2. And of course, West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite returned to form. And in that encounter, he scored 126, which was his 90th century in the first innings, and 85 in the second. And he was named player of the match. While player of the series went to Suranga Lakmal for his 11th wicket in the two-test series for 246 runs from 92 overs. The 0-0 results means Sri Lanka failed to win any of the series in the Caribbean, having lost the T20 2-1 and the free ODI 3-0 to Kieron Pollard-led team. However, they do maintain the number 7th ranking in tests, keeping West Indies at number 8. And of course, we have pics of Brathwaite and Lakmal. As Craig Brathwaite here. Yeah. In the meanwhile, Craig Brathwaite, Gloucestershire, have made a last-minute addition to the County Championship squad by signing West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite as an overseas player for the first 2 months of the domestic season. Brathwaite will be available for up to 8 championship fixtures. He's expected to travel to Bristol immediately following the second test against Sri Lanka in Antigua, in which he scored his 9th century, 126 in the first innings. He will not now arrive in time to face Surrey on Thursday, April 8th, but should make his debut against Somerset on Thursday, 15th April. Brathwaite is set to open with batsman batting for Gloucestershire alongside club captain Chris Dent, and will be the second overseas player alongside Daniel Rowell when he arrives after the conclusion of the Sheffield Shield season. Gloucestershire will be Brathwaite's 4th county after spells at Glamorgan, Nottinghamshire and Yorkshire, and he is the 3rd member of the side to sign as an overseas player for the entire rounds of the championship season, following deals for Kemar Roach, Surrey, and Azari Joseph, Warwickshire. Brathwaite said, "I truly look forward to the opportunity. I have always enjoyed playing cricket and cherish the times in England." Of course, we have pics of Brathwaite, Azari Joseph, and of course, Kemar Roach coming up. Well, that's Brathwaite when he scored the century against Sri Lanka in the first innings. That's him here again. And of course, Lakmal, player of the series. He nipped the wicket of former West Indies captain Jason Holder. So of course, he ended up with 11 wickets for 246 runs of 92 deliveries. And of course, we also have pictures of the 3 players that will be playing county cricket in England. Azari Joseph, Craig Brathwaite, and Kemar Roach. Meanwhile, and of course that will interest many of our young cricketers and of course our cricketers on island, the wicket zone will now be extended all the way to the top of the bails as the ICC makes key changes to LBW reviews in DRS. The ICC committee has made changes to the way LBW will be adjudged under the decision review system, DRS, introducing a slight increase to the area of the stump a ball must be shown to be hitting for a not-out decision to be overturned. This wicket zone will now be extended all the way to the top of the bail. All the way to the top of the bail. Having previously gone only to the bottom of the bails, which is why deliveries just clipping the bail ended up returning to the umpire call verdict. The umpire call in DRS has been a major talking point ever since it was introduced a few years ago. The debate gained recent traction with Indian captain Virat Kohli claiming it caused a lot of confusion. And of course, well, you know how many times you just call umpire thief? That's the honest thing, you know. That's human nature, you know. The debate, the ICC committee looked into the matter at length and decided against the need for any kind of drastic overhaul. The principle underpinning the arrest was to correct a clear error in the game by ensuring the role of the umpire as the decision maker on the field of play was preserved. And of course, you will see some of the clips here in terms of the new decision. Of course, that's Joe Butler from England. And the original decision not out, wicket umpire call, impact in line, pitching outside, sorry. And this is the latest before rule change and after 2020 change. So, it's a lot happening for cricket, and one will expect our very own umpire association in St. Lucia will take that opportunity to have a few sessions, especially with some of our younger players, and of course with some of the various clubs or teams at the district level in St. Lucia. So they too will have an idea as to what they're going to when it comes to that ruling by the ICC. We move on to track and field, and of course South Africa is lobbying the European Court of Human Rights, ECHR, to hear Caster Semenya appeal against World Athletics rules which force her to take testosterone suppressing medication to compete in her best event before Tokyo 2020 Games, which in the next few months. Semenya is challenging the World Athletic regulation which cap athletes in women events from the 400 meters through the mile for athletes with differences of sexual development. And of course, remember, just recently I had Dr. Louisi here, and we dealt with some of these issues. So you see, you know, and I personally believe it is one of the areas or one of the athletes that has been targeted by World Athletics. And I simply hope her case will be heard at the soonest. And in fact, according to according to Athletics South Africa, they expect the court to hear her matter as soon as possible. And that is our position. There are 4 months, they are saying there are 4 months to go before the games. And you can't tell me that the court cannot find an opening before that period to deal with this urgent matter. And I totally agree with that. And sometimes, you know, these national entities or organizations, they like to drag their feet or pussyfoot on events like this. And I simply hope South Africa and Caster will get the day in court, you know. Because she is one of the athletes I look up to. I always want to see her compete. But if that continues to drag like that, I mean, come on. We have a few pics of Caster. Here's Caster Semenya here. Of course, when you look at this young lady, some of us say, well, boy, she looks so much like a man, you know. But in truth and in fact, she's a woman, you know. But just that, you know, certain levels of, you know, go over, and that is the issue. We will take our first break. Of course, you can just jump in for a bite, bathroom break, and I'll be back in the next minute with you.
The COVID vaccine is here and is for people 18 years and older.
High-risk healthcare workers, first responders, law enforcement,
as well as people living with chronic conditions.
And our seniors 65 and over
The vaccine is absolutely free.
Ou sa registre online, en community center qui en communauté ou.
Or with your private healthcare provider. Vaccinate for you.
Pour moi.
For us.
Did you get the COVID-19 vaccine? Then you may experience one or a combination of side effects, or even no side effects at all. Side effects may include pain or tenderness in the area where you got the vaccine. You may also notice a little swelling or redness. To manage these, you may apply a clean, cool, wet washcloth or an ice pack over the area. Throughout your body, you may feel chills, fever, nausea, joint pain, tiredness, headache, or muscle pain. To manage this discomfort, you should get plenty of rest. Drink fluids, but avoid alcohol and caffeine. If you need to manage pain, you may take paracetamol, not aspirin. You may continue to take all medications prescribed for you for your health condition. Vaccinate. For you, for yours, for us.
Hey girl, what's your name? What's your name? Hey,
you're in a good mood.
Girl, if I tell you, I just pre-registered for the COVID vaccine. Hey, but yes.
Supporting you in getting vaccinated is important to us at the Ministry of Health. By selecting one of the options for pre-registering, it helps us to be better prepared and more efficient at managing your demand for vaccination. There are 3 ways to pre-register for your COVID-19 vaccine. 1. Go online by visiting https://hmi.govt.lc/. 2. Contact your closest wellness center. Or 3. Contact your private physician. When we get vaccinated, we don't only protect our health, we are taking action that benefits the health of our entire nation. Vaccinate for you, for yours, for us. A message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Watching UTV, TV for you.
I'm back with you. Like 2 previous editions of this program, we had an inside studio guest. This evening, there's no one sitting to my right. But guess what? I'll be getting in touch with a young lady. Yeah, in a while. And she's no stranger to sports in this country. In fact, she was part of St. Lucia team to Sydney, Australia. And the team then comprised Dominic Johnson, Ronald Promise, Sherry Scobie Henry, and Jamie Peter King. She was Sportswoman of the Year for the year 1993 and 1999. In 1999, she won CAC 400-meter gold. At present, she is the current assistant coach of the Elite Track and Field Club. She is the curriculum officer for physical education in the Ministry of Education. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line is no other than Vernetta Lestloris. Good evening, Vernetta.
Good evening, Tony.
What's up, and how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good. I mean, I just mentioned a few things on you. Sportsman of the Year 1993-99, CAC 400-meter gold medalist, of course, quite a bit. I mean, quite a good slip. But what we're going to discuss this evening, you are currently involved, well, you are the Ministry of Education, but you were involved with the Physical Education Teachers Association. And of course, in the coming days, Tuesday and Wednesday, you will be hosting a virtual physical education and sports conference. And under the theme, Reliance Through Physical Activity and Sport. Just bring me up to speed as to the whole planning and what one can expect for the 2 days of your conference.
Okay, Tony, thanks for having me on, first of all.
Yeah.
This PE and Sports Conference we've held this will be our 3rd year hosting this conference. We first hosted it in 2018 and 2019. Last year we canceled because of the protocols that were in place that prohibited gatherings of more than 10 people or so. This year we are under similar constraints to the protocols that are in place right now. However, we did not want to miss an opportunity to have this conference. We had some momentum going from 2019, and we wanted to capitalize on that momentum. We also know that our teachers, our coaches are at home, teaching from home. Some of the coaches are coaching online. So we wanted to have this opportunity to bring all of our teachers and our coaches together in a professional setting. Our theme this year is resilience through physical activity and sport. It's a very appropriate theme given the conditions that we are under right now. As you mentioned, the conference starts on Tuesday and goes through Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday. We have 20 sessions over the 2 days. Day 1, we have 11 sessions, and on day 2, we have 9 sessions. The sessions cover a range of topics that we think will be relevant to PE teachers and the coaches. Some of these topics include technology and sports performance, utilizing virtual platforms to teach physical education, social and emotional learning in physical education and sport, and the legal implications for the physical education teacher and coach. So those are just some of the topics, some of the presentations that we'll have over the 2 days. Again, topics that we think will be relevant to every PE teacher, every coach, and persons involved in sports in general. One of the other sessions that we have is called Voices from the Field. And that session gives our coaches, our teachers, our sports administrators an opportunity to describe how they have managed through COVID and how they continue to manage. Because although we know that this is a pandemic and it's affecting everybody around the world, sometimes we can feel like we're the only ones going through this. So the Voices from the Field session will allow, as I said, our teachers, coaches on the island and also some of our colleagues from the region to describe how they're managing through the pandemic. So it's a 2 days packed with presentations. Our guest speaker for this year is Minister Belrose, Fortuna Belrose. She will be speaking on the theme resilience through physical activity and sport. We're going virtual this year, as you mentioned, but despite that, we can't have a PE and sports conference without any physical activity. So over the 2 days, we will have a couple of physical activity breaks put on by Albert Reynolds and Ms. Shani Victorin. So we're trying to throw in a lot in there, but we know again, as I said, that those will be topics that will be relevant to our audience.
I realize 20 sessions over a 2-day period. I try to figure whether, the time frame, will be, kind of, because it looked pretty tight to me.
The sessions are run concurrently. We have 3 sessions. We have a general session that is open to everyone. We expect that everyone will attend those sessions. We have a K-6 session with topics that we think would be more relevant for persons who are dealing with students or athletes in that age range or that grade, from grades K-6. And we also have another session for persons working with students who are in students and athletes who are in grades 7 to 11. Now, the K-6 and the 7 to 11 sessions are run concurrently. So we're getting 2 sessions every 40 minutes or so.
Are you doing any of the sessions?
Yes, I am.
And which one is that?
I will be doing a session on differentiating instruction and physical education.
You want to give a quick explanation?
Well, in differentiating instruction is something that's not new. It's something that's done in the regular classroom all the time, where the teacher adapts his or her lessons to accommodate all of the students in the class. So students who may be stronger at a certain skill or students who need additional help, the teacher adapts the lesson to meet those students. When we think about differentiation in PE, oftentimes we think of adapted PE, working with students who have disabilities, but that's not what it means. It simply means rearranging your lesson plan or planning your lesson to meet every need that you have in the class, meet every student need that you have in the class. So students who learn in a different manner, those who are visual learners, your lesson will accommodate those students. Those students who are not as skilled in whatever topic whatever skill that you're teaching, that you'll put things in place to meet the needs that those students have.
Okay. How did you go around, or the Ministry of the Physical Education Association, PE Teachers Association, went on to select the facilitators?
Well, every year we send out a call for presentations. That call is sent out usually in September of every year, and persons look at the topics or that we have in the call for presentations, and then they submit a presentation. We look at the presentations that are submitted, and then we make a determination as to who meets the criteria that we have.
And who are some of the persons this year?
This year, we have Mr. Sabakas Hunt presenting on technology and sports performance. Mr. Gilroy Hall will be doing 2 presentations, a template for developing a school sports program, song as a strategy in PE.
Yes.
We also have Jermaine Anthony, who will be presenting on utilizing virtual platforms to teach physical education, something that is very meaningful, very relevant to our teachers right now. Teaching PE in a virtual space is not easy. Some of the teachers who are doing it are trying their best, but we are looking at other ways to engage the students in the virtual space. We also have a session on periodization of training that again will be done by Mr. Hunt. Social and emotional learning in physical education and sports by Jonathan Shallow. Anthony Lamontine will be presenting on managing physical activity and sports during COVID-19. The St. Lucia Sports Academy will also have a presentation introducing persons to the St. Lucia Sports Academy and some of the programs that they have up there. Ricardo Bo, one of our tennis coaches, will be presenting on sourcing opportunities for athletes, the U.S. collegiate system. With everything that's going on right now, there have been a number of changes, NCAA rules, opportunities for athletes, a little more difficult to come by. The fact that we've not been able to compete for quite a while is making it a little more difficult in sourcing scholarships. So Mr. Bo will be addressing that. Also on day 2, we have our featured speaker on day 2 is Mr. Tyrone Marcus from Trinidad and Tobago. And he will be speaking on the legal implications for the physical education teacher and coach. And that's a really important topic. One of the topics that I will really be looking forward to on Wednesday. That is something that we really need to address in our PE and sports programs. So, and then, as I said, we have Albert and Ms. Shani Victor doing the physical activity breaks. And we also have a session on the psychological impact of COVID-19. We're dealing with a lot right now, and some of us are just going through the motions, just getting through it day by day. I'm not really addressing some of the mental aspects, some of the mental issues that go with the isolation and the lockdowns and not having that social interaction that we're used to. So that presentation will look at some strategies and some tips to deal with the psychological impact of COVID-19.
Interesting. But like you rightly said, the legal implication for physical education teachers and coach by Tyrone Marcus, I think I would really like to hear that aspect. You know, is he a legal mind, or he's just trained in that area, or?
He's trained in that area. He's actually trained in sports law. He's written, I think, a couple of books on sports law in Trinidad, and is very well versed in the topic.
Okay, because it will interest a lot of people Because I see sports, especially some coaches where they abuse athletes. You know, most times, you know, they want the athlete to give 100 and they're looking for the athlete to give 200. I see it as abuse because, like I've said before, there's something they call light, moderate, heavy, and the rest. And even on the rest day, all right, where the athlete's supposed to get a rest day, they still work out the athlete. And people fail to realize that the athlete have a right, all right, in terms of injury and this kind of things. They can sue the coach, you know, or the physical education teacher, you know, and people, and we take it for granted. Like the coach is always right. Oh, the coach is not always right. The coach has to train you for specific events. I'm pretty sure. Well, you know for a fact that as an athlete, you will come to Minnefield Park and do a few 800 meters and prepare this 10, and that's your session. But some coaches will want you to do 50 for 800 meters, you know, and I see it as abuse, you know. So this is an area I believe people should keep a very close eye on when Tyron Marcus will be delivering on. But let me tell you, in terms of your findings for 2018, was anything put in place to present to the Ministry of Education and Sports?
In terms of, can you repeat that?
Yeah, because don't forget you had your first session in 2018. Did you pick up anything out of that session and put it in a book form and present it to both ministries as to the way forward?
No, we did not. What we do at those conferences, we share best practices. We come together as a body, physical education and sports coaches. We discuss some of the issues that we have, and over the year, we try to address some of those issues. So part of my job involves going out to the various schools to observe the teachers. So I look out for some of the things that were addressed in some of those conferences to see whether or not the teachers actually put in the things in practice. And it's a little difficult to come from a conference and go to a ministry or a minister and say, hey, this came from the conference and, you know, let's implement these things or let's implement those things. It's a little more complicated than that. What we're hoping from these conferences is that it will help build the capacity of our teachers and our coaches. So they will become better teachers, they will become better coaches. We hope that when persons attend these conferences, they will learn new things, they will get reassurance that what they're doing is the right thing, some of the things that they're doing are the right things, and also that they will connect with other teachers, other professionals. Because usually as PE teachers and coaches, whenever we meet, it's always in a competitive environment. We meet at the athletics competition or the football competition, netball so it's always in a competitive atmosphere. This conference allows us to meet as professionals, to discuss amongst ourselves the issues that are affecting us, and also to come up with possible solutions to address those issues and to make connections. While I lament the fact that we cannot meet face-to-face, there are some positives to that, because the last two, in 2018 and 2019, when we hosted, this has really been a local conference. Our vision has always been to open it out to our colleagues in the region and internationally. This gives us an opportunity to do that. Had we gone face-to-face again this year, we would have opened it out to the persons in the region, but it would have been difficult in terms of expense, getting people here, having persons to pay their way here, and all of that. Going virtually means that persons can stay wherever they are, they can present, they can attend the conference. You know, so we're looking forward to that, and we hope that whenever things go back to some level of normalcy, we will be able to invite some of those persons from the region and internationally to attend the conference. And hopefully our teachers and coaches can make connections with some of those persons.
Interestingly, you mentioned open it out to colleagues from the Caribbean, our close friends. Is it open to members of the public?
Yes, it is open to members of the public. Any PE teacher, coach, sports administrator, a parent, anybody who is involved or interested in sports and physical education at any level. All they need to do is register for the conference. They will receive an email allowing them to join the sessions on Tuesday and Wednesday.
But how can one register?
They can express their interest by sending an email to St. Lucia PE and Sports Conference at gmail.com. And it's St. Lucia spelled out SAINT LUCIA PE and Sport, not sports, SPORT, conference at gmail.com.
And
send an email to that address, letting us know that you're interested, and we will send you the registration details.
And do you have a deadline for that?
Well, the conference starts on Tuesday, so the deadline would be Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Quickly, before I send you off to start to commence your Easter. What's the latest on Amari Modest in the US?
Amani is
one
doing
of
well.
your athletes.
Amani is doing well. He just got done with his indoor season. They're starting outdoor this weekend. His indoor season was good. It was a good indoor season. So he's looking forward to an even better outdoor.
And of course, your final words before you leave?
Just that I hope that our teachers and coaches would attend the conference. As I said in 2019, we had a good following. We gained some momentum then. We got some really good feedback from the persons who attended, and we were just hoping that they will attend again this year. Okay,
Vanetta Lestoris, two-time Sportsman of the Year, 1993, 1999. I really want to say thank you to you for joining us this evening, of course, via telephone. And of course, I just want to say to all the PE teachers on island, based on what I've seen and based on what Vanetta just mentioned, it's going to be a very interesting two-day session. Please, for the benefit of the young athletes and the benefit of sports in this country, give it a good shot. I want to thank you again, Vanetta, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks again for having me on. You have a wonderful evening yourself.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We will take a break and come back with more sports. And this time, guess what? You wouldn't believe. We're going CONCACAF. And we're going with a note from the minister responsible for sports to all national sports federation on the saga that took place last week in terms of football in this country. I will be right back.
Hey girl, what's your name? What's your name? Hey,
you're in a good mood.
Girl, if I tell you, I just pre-registered for the COVID vaccine. Hey, but yes.
Supporting you in getting vaccinated is important to us at the Ministry of Health. By selecting one of the options for pre-registering, it helps us to be better prepared and more efficient at managing your demand for vaccination. There are 3 ways to pre-register for your COVID-19 vaccine. 1. Go online by visiting https://hmi.govt.lc/. 2. Contact your closest wellness center. Or 3. Contact your private physician. When we get vaccinated, we don't only protect our health, we are taking action that benefits the health of our entire nation. Vaccinate for you, for yours, for us. A message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Will I get COVID-19 from the vaccine? No, you will not get COVID-19 from the vaccine. If you remember, the vaccine is not the virus. It is simply a genetic code which helps the body to make the protein to recognize the virus. Sometimes after you've had the vaccine, you may get fever, body aches or headaches. This is not COVID. This is your body simply learning to recognize it and to prepare you to fight the actual virus.
This is a message from the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association.
dancing up, no need to, dancing up, no need to, dance, but no need to.
You know, I really don't want to laugh, you know, but I just can't help it. There's somebody missing. I might hear somebody. 180,000 people missing. And you never heard that before, right? 185,000 people missing. And that's what a tsunami, you know. It's an insult. Yeah. World Cup qualifier 2021-2022 Qatar. Fair Helen missed out. And of course, big time, you know. And I have some results there for you in the past week, well, early this week. Guyana defeated Bahamas 4-0. They came from they lost to Trinidad in the first game, came back strong, you know, in Santo Domingo. Belize, one of the teams we were supposed to be playing, ran over Turks and Caicos Island, 5-0. You think Belize will give us 5? I don't think so. I don't think so. Belize will give us 5? No. The way our players were kind of determined to play World Cup is a reason why they were determined. But anyway, Belize 5, Turks and Caicos 0. Our next door neighbor, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, defeated BVI, all right, 3-0. And when teams like St. Vincent in such tournament, we as the neighbor, we call ourselves the Saints. We need to support. Well, St. Lucia, I support St. Vincent. You know what I'm saying? St. Lucia, I support St. Vincent is the same Saint. St. Kitts, St. Kitts, St. Vincent. So at least I have two teams still in the qualifiers, you know. But on a serious note, Grenada 1, USVI 0, and Barbados 1 against Anguilla. And interestingly, Barbados is coached by former Trinidadian magician Russell Latapi. You know what I'm saying? So it's Caribbean unity, you know, all the while. You see? Of course, we have Bermuda steamroll over Aruba 5-0. You know, and I strongly believe, you know, in spite of all our circumstances and difficulties, St. Lucia, I believe we will have done well. A drawn game, 1-1, 2-all, you know, maybe lose 1-0, you know. And if people roll back 2019, when we played Montserrat here, and we played the Dominican Republic, yeah, and both coaches of those teams said, St. Lucia playing well. St. Lucia played well. St. Lucia gave a good account of themselves. And then 2 years later, we cannot play a World Cup. But I have some picture for you. You know, and it is baffling, for some people. Look at the Grenada national team. Let's go. Grenada national team. Of course, Grenada in the previous game against El Salvador. Russell Latapi, coach for the Barbados men's senior team, Trinidadian born. Belize, Belize was supposed to play St. Lucia. They're in Group E. And of course, leaders in Group E, Nicaragua. So here you have it. You know, we are all human beings. But always remember, people will remember you for doing 1 million of good things. 1 million. And they will discard you for 1 error. That is human nature. So the SLFA can host all what they want. The license costs and coaches costs, administrators costs for the affiliates. Bill or one of the projects down at the Dennery Riviera in Dennery, buy a home in La Clery, which is the headquarters. People will remember that. But when it comes to national duty, and you fail to show slit, you fail to put a team together, regardless of the circumstances. Because all the other countries had the similar circumstances, you know. St. Vincent, Barbados was on lockdown. Grenada. Everybody had a taste of the COVID. Everybody. No country in the world was spared by Mr. COVID-19. You have to give it this title, Mr. COVID. No country in the world was spared. I'm in no position to say to resign or not to resign. I am in no position to say so. It is up to the 19 affiliates to decide that. To the Libreville? Your guess? Nope. Because you know why? I don't have a vote at Congress. We can talk until tomorrow morning and make noise. We want the president out. We're going to kill him. Alleged, like person said. We're going to flat his tires. But at the end of the day, all those persons talking on the outside don't have a vote. You understand? Not even the government of St. Lucia have a vote. We can talk and brag until 2022. That is how it is. But we just have to wait for a response from FIFA/CONCACAF, whether sanctions will be lashed out at St. Lucia. And if sanctions are lashed out at St. Lucia, it means that St. Lucia will no longer partake in FIFA or CONCACAF events for a few years, 3-4 years, depends. And of course, finances will be slashed as well. I just simply hope good sense comes to prevail on this issue. You know, but it will not be taking a back seat for now. It is on the front burner. Yeah, because I know for a fact it hurt an entire country. It hurt the players. It hurt the coaches. Yeah. But, like I said, it is up to the 19 presidents, affiliates, to decide whether the president of the Football Association continue as president, or whether the entire executive continue as an executive. It's only time will tell. And I simply hope, like I have said before, what transpired in terms of football is a learning experience for football and the 20+ national federations under the Olympic banner, St. Lucia Olympic banner. I've said these things before, you know. But you see what happened? Well, now I'm wearing a jacket. But I'm not tall and white. And persons will take my advice. I've been there. I've done it. You understand? So right now, how do they say? The rooster come to crow? Something like that? Right. It is right there. But some people, they will pay thousands of dollars and seek consultants to come and tell them the things to do and things not to do. I'm not a consultant. I've been there already. I know what it's like. You put your athletes first. Whatever national sports federation, the athletes come first. Yeah. You pull a string and you pull a string there to make it happen. But on the other side of things, coming out of the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports on Wednesday, the said ministry wishes to express its concerns over the non-participation of St. Lucia in the 2021 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. According to Article 17 of FIFA's statutes, each member shall manage its affairs independently with no influence from third parties. And of course, the ministry know that. The ministry know they can't enter there. No federations, they know they can't enter there, but they just let you know rules and regulations. Notwithstanding, the ministry was looking forward in anticipation to St. Lucia participation and hopefully qualification towards 2022. You can never tell where we'll have ended up, you know. No one knew how thirsty or hungry our players will have been on the pitch. Indeed, according to the ministry, it is rather unfortunate the event of Wednesday, 24th March, unfold how it did. And they're referring to the protest outside the SLFA office in La Clery. The placards, Copa must go, SLFA must go, you want to go to World Cup, etc., etc. Therefore, the ministry places on a record that it will have done all within its power to assist the SLFA and any other sporting body looking to make the mark on the world stage. And I know the ministry, they have gone the extra mile in regard. You can give them that. They have. In fact, the infrastructural development of some of our playing fields around the island was geared towards this exact purpose, ensuring world-class facilities in preparing for St. Lucia to bid to host matches. But let's go back to George Odom Stadium. 2009, after the legacy we were looking at after 2009 Carifta Games. April, this weekend will have been Carifta. And then in September, all right, that same year, I continue to house the St. Jude Hospital. And we see tug-of-war, governments there, and now you're talking about, preparing facilities to host. It's all well and good, But that aspect will be for another show. But I'm dealing with that now. That I just mentioned there will be for another show. Minister responsible, Honorable Edmund Estefan, continues to express his general frustration at some of the local associations and federations, who he believes have lost sight of who they are. They are to serve. Now you're talking to me, Mr. Estefan. Now you're talking to me. Because when these people get into office, you know what happens? They forget the people that put them in. They forget Tom, Jerry, Dora, vote them in. Because a promise was made, all right, leading to the elections, that I'm going to change things when I get into office. But when you get into office, either you have 1 year, 2 years, or 4 years, absolutely nothing is done. And let me tell you, I want to excuse those organizations last year that had elections. Or maybe even the year before, it was 2019. And you know why I will excuse them? And give them another chance 2022, 2025. You know why? Because of COVID. And that's me. I've been honest. I want to be honest. Because nothing, absolutely nothing was done in terms of sports because of the COVID-19. I would give them another chance to serve. When things get back to normal, and I know it will sometime soon. The minister further stated that these entities need to put the athletes and the people at the core of all what they are doing. I've said that before. Don't discard, abuse, and use, and you discard people. He further lamented that the ministry was well placed to assist, had the requisite dialogue. I repeat, he further lamented that the ministry was well poised to assist, had the requisite dialogue on consultation occurred. And you will have seen, read on that. All right? So I'm not going to any further details. In moving forward, the Ministry of Sports remain committed and resolute to all within its power to ensure that sports regain its coveted place in society once it is safe to do so. Now, I have asked a question, and no one seems to be able to answer a question. In terms of the command center, I know Dominic Fede, Honorable Minister Dominic Fede, is the one responsible, or the chairman. I have asked the question whether on that committee, whether there is any sports-minded person on that committee. I need somebody to answer me, and which I doubt. Because I want to be honest with you. There are certain sports which I believe can go ahead. Certain sports. Yeah. I think what you're seeing in terms of the youth, the frustration and the rate of crime, we need to look back. There is some urgency in reensuring at the soonest that certain sporting events should resume. And if there is anyone, a sports-minded person on the command center committee, or NIMAC, how they call it, I believe they should include one. Because it's okay for the CMO or the Minister Health to say social distancing, no much a mass crowd for sports. It's all well and good. One-on-one volleyball, tennis. Come on. There are sports. There are sports. Cricket. When COVID was at its worst, the Cricket Association last year, June, staged the T20 tournament at Bossejo with no persons. We can. Okay, Madam CMO, Madam Minister, and Minister Dominic. Yeah. Let's start it. But I'm leaving you this evening with a few picks as to what the minister said as to the associations that seems to forget their people. Look at it. Minister Estefan, track and field, basketball, cricket, cycling, darts, football, golf, karate, motocross, netball, rugby, and as a Sembo executive, tennis, volleyball, swimming. Of course, you have domino, you have squash, you have taekwondo. You have a few other sports. We need to now move on to another level. And don't forget those persons that make you or make your association. And I totally agree with the minister in some of the things he mentioned there. I totally agree with him. Some might say, well, boy, politicians just talk. But this is reality, and I'll mention it, and it's a good thing. The minister now is saying it. If I'd say it, everybody, the same way they want to take Cooper head, they want to take my head. There's another host who have mentioned it before. You have the Kenson and Tennyson. They have mentioned it before. And even before Brian McDonald passed a few years back, we have no respect for our athletes. No respect for our athletes. And we need to respect them. They are the ones making your association. They are the ones that elected you. And at the end of the day, we neglect them. Not supposed to be. Just 7:05. I'm about to wrap up. And as always, it was a pleasure having you. Last week I heard, or early this week I heard the Tracy from the fire service mentioned that last weekend was a good weekend. There were not many ambulance and calls, in terms of accidents. And please, St. Lucia, there were a few, but please take it easy this weekend. I know for a fact curfew ends tomorrow at 3. Don't go drinking early in the morning. And curfew approach 3 o'clock. You're looking to rush home because you're looking to beat the curfew time. Don't, please. Drive with due care and attention. As always, wear your mask, hand sanitize, and of course, the temperature. For those celebrating birthdays and anniversaries, I wish you God's blessing and the very best. Congratulations. And for those going out tomorrow to worship our Savior, Jesus Christ, I wish you safe journey mercies to and from. To all national sports federations, the all clear is coming. But we as St. Lucians, we need to behave ourselves and respect what's there. It's coming. Wait, hold on, it's coming. From me to you, happy Easter. Carifta will have been this weekend, Both Carifta swimming and Carifta track and field will have been this weekend. because again COVID. You know what I'm saying? So long. Enjoy. Good night. Tony de Beauville.